Hi everyone, welcome to this week's reading. So big week ahead, full moon in Scorpio, Mercury goes direct. I think we're really feeling more of the activations that this month has already brought to us. A lot of things have been brewing, things happening behind the scenes, and the solar eclipse with the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. Now, Scorpio full moon is going to probably remove obstacles or help you release something, and there's some kind of truth that might be illuminated as well, something difficult that you may have to really be honest about, whether it's something with yourself or a situation. It's going to be very helpful though. We've had a lot of boosts with Chiron this month, a lot of healings, so I think this is going to be feeling like a broom sweeping things out of the way. And then Mercury goes direct in Aries, so everything that you've been reworking and you've been doing that soul searching, that looking within, this is where the action turns outward again. So take a look at the cards. We've got community as card number 1, card number 2 is freedom, card number 3 is new beginnings, and card number 4 is fulfillment. So choose one and let's see what this week will bring to you. Okay, group number 1, if you chose community, this is your reading. Community, group number 1. So perhaps you've chosen this card either because you were drawn to the image or the word itself, community. You're looking for some kind of belonging, maybe some advice on how to gather people or how to move forward with this group, finding where you belong, feeling like you're with the right people, the people who see the world the way that you do, want to help the world the way that you do, a really strong sense of belonging. Okay, you've got the 8 of Pentacles. Group number 1. The 6 of Pentacles. Okay, so the work that you've been doing is starting to pay off. A lot of you could be applying for grants as well. Something that requires 9 of Cups, nice. Attention to detail, something that requires consistent effort. You have a lot of potential. And I think this 8 of Pentacles represents something you've already been working on, but this week especially shows you maybe the clue to the procedure. You experience a breakthrough in your learning process. Some of you may be teaching, you may be setting up a workshop. I'm feeling some of you might be doing something with, I heard potions, mixology, essential oils. So there could be something about vials and vessels this week. But really it looks like this week reaches some kind of happy conclusion. Well, not a conclusion, but things are in process and it's starting to pay off. One thing I will warn against is that someone in the group, or maybe the group itself, that there's something about community that really requires someone to look at their own motivations and their own desires. So how do we, because what I see is that the more that you help, the more that you give outward, it does pay off. It does come back to you somehow. It just makes you feel good. You feel fulfilled. But sometimes with this card, there is a bit of a warning that it says be careful what you wish for, in the sense that if you choose purely from a place of pleasure, purely from desire, then it makes you happy in the moment, but it may not continue to yield the same feeling or give you the same feeling. But ultimately, I'm seeing a community that having a potluck or a gathering, everyone's nourished, everyone's belly is full. You've really pulled something off. Some of you could be hosting. King of Pentacles and the Page of Swords. So more of this focus on material, on resources, could be financial learning. I am seeing the research necessary to write a grant, to learn as much as you can about this company, this incentive. There is some money available. With the King of Pentacles, there's always some resource available. So group number one, I see that you do have access to resources. I mean, there are always more than enough resources. They just end up rather coagulated. So with that Six of Pentacles, again, there's, I feel a little bit of unease with that Page of Swords, where he doesn't quite know who to trust, or he's kind of doing some secret investigation. Because with the Six of Pentacles, there's some kind of karmic story or karmic justice, let's say, or like, what are you giving your attention to? Where do you give your energy, and is it reciprocated? I mean, in any sort of relationship setting, whether you're helping a friend, family member, if you're looking for love, or something in your life feels sort of one-sided or has felt quite one-sided, and you're on a quest to make things more equal, to make them equal, or at least fair, so that the person who has the resources, you have some kind of resource, and this is a careful consideration of where to allocate that resource, whether the resource is your time, whether the resource is your money, your knowledge. I see that your knowledge is important here as well. There is something about pleasure, because we have the Nine of Cups with the King of Pentacles. And this to me really speaks of, and I have to be honest, this speaks of somebody that really wants to have a good time and is there for the moment and there for the indulgence. Like, it kind of seems like there's a clear divide between who puts in the effort to build and plan and execute this event, this party, this feast, let's say, and then who is benefiting from it, who kind of sits there and expects or partakes in the reward without having contributed to the work it took to gain that reward. I'm seeing some of you too, this is a careful consideration week of really looking inside at what matters and why you do what you do, and maybe why you've felt that you had to overgive. I see that a lot of you are really turning things around with the way that you work. You've really applied some discipline, a really good work effort. You've applied consistency, and you will start to see a result from this. But for some reason I'm going to clarify this Page of Swords, because it kind of feels like you don't trust. You don't trust something. Let's see what that is. The Page of Swords. What do we need to look out for? What do we need to look out for? Hierophant, the Star, and the King of Cups. I heard being on the straight and narrow path. Someone is really trying to turn their life around, and it takes more than one person, I think, to get through this, because there is such potential for healing. But we really see an emphasis on the community, on the people who have a shared goal, they have a shared vision, or maybe even a shared past experience or story that has led them to this place, this group, this moment. And there's an effort for healing. There's an effort to replace maybe habits that we're no longer serving you, we're no longer healthy. The King of Cups really indicates a healing point, especially with the Star. There has really been a healing point when it comes to, okay, so somebody is like, they've been maybe isolated from a group, and they've been isolating because they've been trying to change their routines or their habits or something in their life, their lifestyle. And they knew that being around a certain group, like in a party setting, a lot of people that are trying to move away from overindulgence do physically remove themselves from these events or these friend groups, because sometimes You just have to remove the temptation in order to get it out of your system. So it seems, and this is taking me, oh, I just bit my tongue, taking me to the Scorpio full moon, where it feels like that is going to be the release, like the venom, right? We think of the scorpion's tail and the venom, and then the release. That moon is going to release something. But anyway, there has been quite a lot of healing done, and this person is like a little trepidatious around maybe seeing these people again, or going to some kind of event where there maybe is some kind of temptation. But what I really see is that you are very supported by your community. And with the Hierophant too, it's a clear focus on really what's important to you, your values. I think these are trustworthy people, and I think that there's almost like access to your goals are getting brighter, bigger, clearer, closer to you. You're going to feel very clear about a decision. You're going to feel healed. And that King of Cups represents that healing point where previously you were in the water, right? This guy, this Page of Swords, was like on his feet. The wind was taking him every which way, very susceptible to change. Didn't really have his own footing. And now the King of Cups is representing, well, the Hierophant as well. You've gained stability. You've gained some sense of belonging. You've really worked on yourself. I think you're feeling stronger in your body, stronger, clearer with your purpose, and maybe how you want to tell your story or help others as well. Maybe Chiron and Aries has helped you realize, like, I've really been on a healing journey, and I think others would benefit from hearing it, and I would benefit from telling it, right? Because you kind of remind yourself where you've been and what you've overcome when you're interacting with that story. And that King of Cups really represents that distance where you've decided enough is enough. I have to do what I'm stabilizing myself, I'm healing, I'm detoxing or even purging with that star. I'm washing the wounds, I'm cleansing. And whatever got the better of me last week or yesterday, it doesn't have that same impact on me. I am now in control of my emotional realm. Outside forces, I see them, I witness them, but they don't have as much control over me and my choices or my inner state as they used to. So you have autonomy, group number one, and you are very supported by a group that is, or even an event. Some of you could be planning an event, and maybe that's why the Page of Swords is here with that research kind of investigation phase of looking for a host or a sponsor or a space. But I really see a group or an event gathered happening for a shared cause, a shared purpose, and a strong sense of emotional maturity. You've gotten to know yourself very well, and you feel healed enough that you can actually talk about your experience. This King of Cups is really connecting to that full moon as well. The absolute inner power. And that is more of a power that endures, because the kings are the masters of their element. This Nine of Cups, nines are about the self, right? The nine, when you look at it, to summarize, nine in math always returns to itself. Like 9 times 2 is 18. 1 plus 8 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. 2 plus 7 is 9. 9 is that end of the cycle, and it also represents the self. It's the hermit. So whenever we see a 9 in the minors, it indicates that there's that element is applied to the self. And with the cups, that's about pleasure, self-pleasure. And I don't know, with that 6 of Pentacles next to it, it does seem like there's a need to balance something with it. I do see resources available. I do see a lot of you appealing or applying for something. And I see strong community, strong sense of belonging, again, strong in your body. Very strong in your physical body and in your emotions. And working toward your goal has gotten you closer to it. I do want to pull a Lenormand to see if there's anything else coming up this week for group number one. Group number one, the week ahead. bouquet. So you are getting a gift. A lot of you are winning this contest or receiving what you're applying for, the bouquet, beautifying something, arranging something. And quite simply, it does indicate a gift. So there is something that feels like a celebration, setting up, preparing a gift, an offering that makes you very happy. It's quality as well. This King of Pentacles, King of Cups, the Hierophant, the Star, these are all speaking about quality. You're learning a lot, your mind is expanding, and I just think that you really feel that your efforts are paying off. You feel like you're making a difference, and it shows. And that bit of feedback helps you feel even stronger in your mission. So group number 1, I'm going to leave that there. I hope you have a wonderful week ahead, and I will see you in the next one. Group number 2, hello and welcome to your reading for the week ahead. You've chosen the Freedom card. So that's your card. If you've chosen Freedom, this is your reading. So that moon could be quite liberating for you. Mercury going retro or going direct might feel like you've gotten a lot of clarity, because maybe over the last few weeks while it's been retrograde, you've been looking within, you've been really figuring things out, and maybe you've even felt slowed down or held back somehow. Aries and Mars energy doesn't really like to be slowed down or move slower the way retrogrades do. So this feels like freedom. It feels like you're releasing something and you're able to move forward. So group number 2. Okay, you have the 4 of Cups. Something has not been fulfilling up to this point. You haven't quite found the right thing, or you've been kind of bored or disinterested or even apathetic. Some of you haven't been speaking with somebody. There's freedom in these choices. Okay, Queen of Swords and the Knight of Swords. There's the freedom. The Queen of Swords is really where what I see kind of playing out here so far. The 4 of Cups is like something isn't happening, something isn't clicking, or you've been like holding out for some breakthrough, or even feeling disconnected from your own heart. But it's like holding out. Maybe tomorrow. And the Queen of Swords, she starts to feel she doesn't feel happy about what has been happening. She's not pleased. She starts to let this affect her emotions, and you can kind of feel those storm clouds gathering over you. It's like, I'm losing patience with this. I tried to give them the benefit of the doubt. I tried to be patient, but time after time, it's reached a point where, okay, it's not about being reasonable anymore. We've passed that point. Now I'm just pissed off. So she feels like that, but she knows it's not right. She doesn't want to feel that way. So she realizes she has to release the expectation or the hope or when you were really holding out for something, whatever was making her angry, ruining her day, or casting those shadows over her, she's releasing connection to that situation. When you let go of something, you set it free. You set yourself free. So I don't know if somebody has let you down. I don't know if you've just been having to say no to things because you haven't quite felt... Sorry, I'm getting like hiccups or something all of a sudden. You haven't quite felt like you belong, or you haven't quite felt like something wasn't quite the right fit yet. She has lost, a lot of you, this could be in love, where maybe someone has let you down time and time again, or your needs have gone unnoticed, or this person sort of puts things off or doesn't want to address, like, when are we going to have these big conversations, right? The Queen of Swords, just overall, she goes, I realize how this has had an effect on me, and I release my expectations, my attachment. You can't have that effect on me anymore. I choose how I feel, and I'm choosing to create space for myself. I'm choosing to let go. And immediately when she lets go, the dynamic changes, the direction changes. Suddenly you've made room for your own plans, your own expectations, or your own adventure. Some of you maybe have come from something very difficult, emotionally difficult. But I do see that you've reached a point. I think this week represents you feel like you can kind of step out of the house again. You can call up a friend, or you can go for dinner. Like you've done the mourning, you've done the healing. And now it's time to accept and let go and move on and let yourself be free. A lot of you have not let yourself be free because you feared being cut loose from this scenario or from this person. A lot of you, it is from difficulty, it is from loss. And I'm really happy to say that it does seem like finally there's a change of direction. There's more activity in your life as well. There's more communication. Maybe some people are reaching out to you, or you feel ready to reach out. Again, facilitate things, start to communicate and be active again at your own pace. But others of you, there's a scenario where you are finally admitting to yourself that something is just not fair, it's not equal, or you feel ignored, you feel undervalued, or just this work is not fulfilling to me, or this relationship is not, you're really being honest about how something has, when time and time again your needs go unmet, there's only so many times you can give a person the benefit of the doubt until you really have to recognize that you have been, what is the word? It's in my mind and then it evades me when I go to speak it. And is that what you're experiencing in your communication, where it's like you feel something but you don't know how to put it into words? Something unjust has happened to you. And I'm sorry that I can't think of that word, but it just hasn't felt fulfilling. So anyway, this is the week where you cut yourself free and finally things start to break loose. And I'm feeling this connects back to the conjunction of Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus, because Taurus is like this big immovable object, let's say, that you've been like, no, I just have to be consistent. I just have to keep going at this. I've invested in this and I have to stick with it, right? Because I already invested and I put all this time in. But there's something about that conjunction, like lightning came and struck the boulder and broke it down so that your path was cleared. And now you have more options. So don't be afraid of changing your path a little bit from how you thought it should look or how you thought it should go, because it really feels like it's going to free you. It's for the better. Group number 2, any more messages for group number 2? It's not easy being the Queen of Swords, but I mean, there's something has made her that way. She values the mind and the freedom of the mind. You have the Empress here. So you've done a lot of thinking, and now it's amazing the abundance that's coming in now that you've cut yourself free, or you've said goodbye, or you've decided to let go and release. And now there's a change of direction. Things get busier. You've got more inspiration. If you're a creative person, there's so much more inspiration. It flows freely, like the water is flowing freely. It's abundant. It's giving life. Everything's in flow. It's connected. It's abundant. It's the way a mother provides for her child. You know, I will always put you first, kind of thing. I will send you home with more than what you need so that you are okay. That's the ideal sort of mother that we see in the Empress, right? This very abundant, caring, takes care of the physical needs, and also with deep love. So there's creative freedom. I see freedom of the body as well. So how you express yourself, you're feeling more connected to yourself physically. You've got the King of Swords too. Interesting. So the Empress, we're in Taurus season now. Feeling like we're more connected to our bodies, and it's okay to move a little slower and to take our time to produce quality, something of quality rather than quantity. This is more about quality. See, before we were going for quantity, and now we move slower. We know that we're valuable. What we produce is valuable. And a quality result, I guess, communicates that as well to the other, to the buyer, to the other person, to the viewer. Like, this is a masterpiece. This is taking 3 years to do an oil painting rather than quickly whipping through something some other way. It's really creating a masterpiece. And I think mastery is the clear word here, the key word. We've got the King of Swords now. So it's interesting to me that once you cut yourself free, where you have felt ignored or you couldn't talk about something or you weren't talking to someone, this could be a mother figure, who does not emblemize that Empress energy. This could be a feminine person in your life who maybe does bring these storm clouds over you every time they show up. And the King of Swords is not afraid to have those conversations. So whatever you have needed to say to somebody, you're able to have that conversation now, express yourself succinctly, because you have gone through enough time and distance where you've had the time to really plan what you wanted to say and think about it. And you present your, looking at the King of Swords as like a lawyer, you've had the time to really present your argument well. You've gone over all the possibilities and you're prepared for every possible scenario. Others of you, this King of Swords is your communication style. It's happening more genuinely, more naturally, more fluently. Maybe some of you are learning a new language, and that gives you freedom to travel, freedom to look for different jobs. You know, really, this is about adding value to your life and cutting yourself free of where something felt thorny. The Queen of Swords here with that Four of Cups is kind of like a plant that's like, obviously it's all scraggly and it's not really growing, and obviously it's not gonna make it, but you don't want to let go of it because you've had it for so long. But if you like cut all those dead heads off and you reduced it to like one branch, maybe it would actually flourish again. So it really shows that when you actually cut away a lot of this dead energy, you experience more growth, you flourish. I'm hearing the word flourish. And you kind of get your head back, I'm hearing. You get your thoughts back. You feel more in control of, a lot of you who maybe are running a business or there's some job performance or an interview or something. This is really the communication. You have a gift of the written word or of the spoken word. But it's important that you connect with this and really sit down to reflect and write things out and go through the questions and the reflection period. So communication is a huge thing, and having the safety to communicate, right? Freedom is the safety to communicate your true self. How can I feel free in a relationship where every time I bring up my feelings just to talk, I'm met with aggression or I'm met with denial? How can we reach a level of maturity where we can just objectively have a conversation and find common ground? So really looking at where you are able to communicate. This is something that a lot of people deal with in their relationships and their lives, is that freedom of speaking their needs. And they're not being aggressive about it. They are sometimes quite meek, and they take a long time to recognize they've been wronged, is the word I was looking for, I think, with the Queen of Swords. And the courage to express that is a whole other thing. The courage to admit to yourself that you've been wronged or you've been hurt or that someone might be taking advantage. It takes a lot of courage to admit that to yourself, and then it's a whole other step to communicate it to that source. When it seems like something's on the line, that Knight of Swords feels like things can change on a dime. So let's get a few more cards. Group number 2, freedom. Freedom this week, freedom. You're calling the shots though. King of Swords is like you have reached a point this week where you're like, this is what it is. And if you don't want to communicate with me like an adult, then why are we here? How can we move forward? If the thing is, the King of Swords is not about the freedom of just saying whatever's on your mind without abandon. It's with abandon. You are actually very clear and purposeful with what you say, but you've reached a point where you've thought about it enough and you've processed it that you're not expressing it in the heat of the moment. You're expressing it when you've slept on it, or you've written down your thoughts and you've kind of looked at your own side of things, and you've really been clear on your message, your points, and how you want to get them across. There's something about the timeliness of this King of Swords as well, because the Four of Cups, something has been ignored time and time again, or you've put it off, or you have denied even how you have felt. And that King of Swords is just reaching a point of emotional healing too, where you're like, it's just a word. It's just like, I just need to say how I feel. I'm allowed to do that, right? I'm entitled to. I don't know, with that Knight of Swords, sometimes he can bring chaos or drama too. So that's why I see a little bit of a difficult conversation this week. But that Scorpio moon wants you to release, wants you to be honest, wants you to just let go of stuff that you've been holding on to. So that things, like really what this is removing blockage so that you can receive abundance again. Stating your needs, your expectations. Any more messages? 8 of Pentacles. See, the practice, the working on new patterns, establishing new patterns of relating to each other, to yourself, and maybe being disciplined. If you have a goal as the Empress, you're very creative, that creative energy that she brings. King of Swords is like saying to yourself, okay, you have to be disciplined. You know that you're not, you have to reprioritize things. You know, let's change the schedule a bit. And the 8 of Pentacles puts that into practice. So whatever is being communicated is put into practice. There is an effort made based on whatever that King of Swords has to say. Group number 2. 7 of Pentacles. So there's more freedom, with freedom to invest. Some of you maybe have a little extra money and you can pay off some debt, or something you've been working on is starting to bring in some money. There is a consideration of where to invest. And to make that decision, you just have to really look at what has worked for you and what hasn't. Some crops you're going to grow with success, and some crops, let's face it, you just won't. So focus on your specialty, focus on what you know you're good at and what has yielded a result, but also how can I improve to make it better, make it more profitable, really with growth. Growth generally, this week is about growth, and you have to cut something off and let go of something in order to make room for growth. The Star. There you are, watering the plants, watering the seed. There's the growth. There's the healing. There's the open conversation. I heard earnest conversation. A bit vulnerable as well. Like, It's not easy for me to communicate this, but maybe I hear some of you may be talking to a boss. It's not easy for me to say this, but I witnessed something that made me uncomfortable. There's a lot of those like big things that we can't hold in anymore. That's the Scorpio moon. If you're gonna hold it in, you're only torturing yourself. So you have to let go of it and accept that the time has passed, or you don't want to deal with it. If you do want to deal with it, get it out of you, because you're going to make yourself a lot lighter. I want to get a Lenormand before we go, group number 2. The ship, movement, travel, business as well though. Really, this is the ship of business, or the card for business. So economic success, financial success. Maybe some of you are maybe a new job, maybe you feel like you're moving on. Maybe some of you are launching a website. Maybe some of you doing import-export stuff. They're looking to travel. I mean, just getting there. How are you going to get to this goal? And that ship is your vessel. And you got to think about what you're taking with you and what needs to go and what doesn't. So there's a great success. Business is really on your mind. A lot of you, new jobs, job performance, receiving money, something is profitable, freedom. You're free. You have freedom to travel. Like, that's when you have extra money that you can choose where it goes. That's freedom. In this capitalist world, that is freedom. All your bills are paid. You've got some extra money left over. Do you want to go for dinner every night, or do you want to save it for a trip, or do you want to put it into savings for retirement? It's freedom. And sometimes freedom brings choices. Freedom brings a lot of questions and difficult choices. But I think you have to see these choices as a blessing as well. So group number 2, I'm going to leave that there. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will see you in the next one. Hello, group number 3. If you chose New Beginnings, this is your reading. Okay, New Beginnings. All right, group number 3. Let's see what this week brings. Okay, 5 of Pentacles, but it's the very first card out. So if you've been experiencing financial difficulties, social difficulties, just feeling like you don't fit in, or you can't find you just feel like you can't find your place in this world. It's like no matter where you look, there's already somebody there. There's like no vacancy. Everywhere you're trying to go, there's no vacancy. It feels like you've been denied. That's changing. I feel like that's really changing. And I think too, a lot of you are recognizing your own abundance. The gift of Taurus season. Oh, your own abundance. Look, you're ready to move forward. That could be that Scorpio full moon as well. A lot of you are finally recognizing where you've maybe kept yourself small, or you've limited yourself. You know, that there's something very deep in a person that brings up the 5 of Pentacles. And it goes back to childhood, often our formative years, when we're learning about safety and security and belonging. And maybe we have to try extra hard to get our parents' attention, or we feel like an outcast at school because maybe we grow up with no money and our parents can't afford to buy us the fancy new clothes that all the other kids are wearing. And so eventually, throughout these formative developmental years, these formative years of development, the child, kind of see the world as a hostile place, and you feel like you don't know what it takes to really fit in or be accepted, or you kind of look at your circumstances, or you look at the parent who's never around, and you really struggle. And as you go through life, as you grow up and you start to form your own relationships, like in love or in friendships, you may find that you overgive to make people like you. You feel like you have to take on, because there may be let's say there's a group that's very accepting, very open, but they have a lot of unhealthy habits. but you feel accepted there, so you kind of take on that lifestyle, you take on those habits, you essentially, I was just talking to someone about this the other day, essentially you end up poisoning yourself for the sake of belonging. And it's a false sense of belonging because there's always a condition for, you can't just show up as you are. It feels like you feel like there's some kind of condition that you have to fulfill in order to belong there. And you just feel like you don't measure up somehow. There's always this feeling of lack. And this is something I think that a lot of us that come from that tend to heal it or really be confronted with it during Saturn return. If you're younger than 28, 29 years old, I think you're still experiencing it. It takes a lot of undoing, but I think maybe because this card is here, you're starting to recognize that you maybe want to make some different choices about the people you spend time with, or maybe the way you've been spending money. I don't know, maybe you just have been out of a job. There's a lot of possibilities with this, but Five of Pentacles, you've been doing without, and you've been doing without for a very long time. And when you do without, you get used to it. It's just second nature to you, but other people are like, what's wrong with you? What I really see for you, and are very basic things like food, shelter, social belonging. These are very like intrinsic needs to a person's life that I think you've been doing without. And finally, something has shifted with this Two of Wands where you are ready to move past that. You're ready to, I'm ready to expand. I'm ready to see what else the world has to give me other than this hostile place where I've been trying to set down roots, or I've been trying to find my group, or I've been trying to feel like I belong and I just can't. Finally, I realize this is not the entire world. There's a whole other world out there. It begins. And this is the point where you start to do things a little differently. You're ready to step across that threshold in the Two of Wands. You're ready to move forward. You're ready to expand. You're ready to invest. Some of you, well, all of you who chose this, it feels like a whole new world is opening to you. There's some partnership or conversation or maybe a contract or working closely with somebody. It just feels like everything is possible to you. There's finally something that clicks and you have this growth. Where it doesn't have to be a sacrifice, where only one of us can have a wand. Now we can both have a wand, right? So in here, okay, we have the Ten of Wands. Now there's going to be quite a journey ahead that it requires a big effort, a lot of work, but it brings the satisfaction of having a goal and being able to see yourself as capable of achieving the goal, so you're able to start putting in those steps toward it. Some of you may be moving. The Tower. This burden you've been carrying, your life is going to be completely changed. And I don't know if some of you are living by the sea, or you want to live by the sea, or eating fish. I that's a sensation of, I don't know why. But that came through. Fish are also symbols of abundance, business, currency. So, I mean, more of that economic growth. The situation's turning around is what I'm trying to say. But the Tower, your whole life is about to change. Everything that you've prioritized is changing. The structure of your life is changing. What you have built is going to probably crumble because it wasn't true. It wasn't there long enough for you to really know that it was stable. You kind of just jumped on and went, okay, this is my life now. Some of you may have overspent. Um, some of you are like, you're going to be relieved of this heaviness, but I think there's something about a change of mindset or like a sharp awakening that something has to change. With the Tower as well, I do see new social groups. I see a lot of like breaking free of self-imposed restriction where you've said, oh, I could never spend time with those people, or I don't know if I could go there. I don't think that's for me. You're feeling ready to expand a little bit, experiment, try some things. I think you're just realizing too where you maybe have kept yourself small and you're ready for something so much bigger. So the Tower is like, you've made this agreement. There's an agreement this week. Okay, I'm going to do this. And it kind of feels like something that you felt you maybe had to finish first kind of gets taken away anyway. Like, oh, I'll move next month, or I will go to school or something, and I've done this, but I have to. Sorry, I just got. You're making these reasons for why it can't happen. Like, oh, I just got to finish this first, and I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to do. But I feel like that crumbles anyway. Like, it gets. Some of you, it gets taken away anyway. You don't have to do it. You're changing your priorities as well. Maybe looking at, right in Taurus season, we're looking at our physical reality, our materials, and our abundance and our resources. And what is a resource versus what is it? Like, I don't need this beautiful Victorian set of scales. It brings me joy every day. But realistically, if I had to run out of this house in the middle of the night in an emergency, I don't think I'd grab it. You know what I mean? You're getting very clear about what you want to take with you on this journey. I see a lot of you do want to travel lighter. And the Five of Swords, you're going to have the last laugh. Bullies and small-minded people, petty people who go behind your back and they say mean things and they try to put you down because they feel like they've won. They've got like a one-up because they went behind your back, and they're like, it's kind of like when someone decides, well, I feel powerless, so I'm going to turn mean. And if I just turn really mean, then no one can hurt me. And like, they kind of turn to the dark side. Like, it's kind of that moment where you have to choose your approach. But I feel like you don't really have to act because you get the last laugh. You may witness that. You may witness somebody, mean words, mean things said, coworkers, and I think karma's going to take care of itself. Karma's going to take care of itself. A lot of you may be looking to quit a job or leave a relationship. You've got the Nine of Pentacles, so you're headed toward your own abundance. You're headed toward maybe living by yourself, your own space, working from home, starting your own business, something that is entirely for you. And just feeling good, feeling proud about what you've achieved. More confidence in yourself, because you're better than this. You don't need to get involved in this. You're going to have the last laugh. Whether you watch that person's tower crumble immediately after they do this, and you're like, oh, that's why you were being a dick, because you felt powerless in your life. I don't feel bad for you, though. And you end up, you're the Nine of Pentacles. Either that person's tower crumbles or you're just doing better anyway. So, like, if you're trying to leave a relationship, some of you, and, you just haven't felt valued, and it's time to leave, and you're going, well, I need everyone to know how I felt. I need everyone to know why, like, what they did or what happened behind closed doors. And you're like, I want to go tell all their friends and broadcast it to the world what's going on. But I think in this case, the fact that you have taken your power back, that you're no longer letting the situation poison you, let's say, you have won simply by removing yourself, and you end up as the Nine of Pentacles. Any more messages? Yes, a very clear message. Temperance. Okay, now a lot of you are you're sick of your job. You're like, man, I can't just work for an hourly wage for the rest of my life. I'm never going to have a savings. I'm never going to travel. So you're starting maybe do something on the side. Maybe some of you are ready to quit your full-time thing and do your own passion, start your own business, be independent somehow. You're starting to apply these changes to your routine, and they're better for you. You're starting to make better choices in your daily life. You're starting to also attract new experiences, different people who resonate with you in this angel state. Not the you that was insecure, desperate, hurt, vulnerable, but the you that is independent, strong, confident, and knows your worth. It's amazing the shifts you're going to start to see. It's amazing the shifts you're going to start to see. This is a very powerful, I just hit my lip there, but it felt like something skipped. What is going on this week? Oh, Mercury's going direct. Like, I think I bit my tongue in the last reading too when I mentioned the Scorpio moon. But this is a very powerful week. Beginning to work with resources or new materials, starting to incorporate something new into your routine, healthier choices. It really is a balancing act. It is kind of this constant checking in, constant adjustments. Like, I want to go for the bag of Doritos, but no, I'm going to eat a salad first and then I'm going to eat the chips after. But I'm not going to fill up on the chips. I'm going to fill up on the salad, the good stuff, and then eat the chips, so to speak. And it's kind of this, like, you have to make the choice for a while, and that is challenging, but eventually you do fully acclimatize and it becomes second nature. It gets really easy to see yourself this way, to relate to the world this way. So don't you worry, group number 3. Everything's about to change and you're going to be like magically relieved of these assholes. Sorry. Is there any little message from the Lenormand? I heard righteous indignation. Something falls through. Someone's plan falls through, and it seems like you kind of benefit from it a little bit. You've got the key. So you are gaining access to something this week. Could be new housing, could be a new home. Whatever you've been trying to get into, like if you are locked out, you might have a situation where you get locked out of something and you go, okay, how can I learn from this? I have to carry more keys with me. How can I prevent myself from... Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm going on a tangent. You're not going to be locked out anymore. You've got the key to the door. You don't have to be outside in the cold anymore. You've got the key. You've got your own space. You feel so accomplished this week. You feel dignified. And that is a beautiful gift. So group number 3, I will leave that there. I hope you have a wonderful week and I will see you soon. Hi group number 4, if you chose fulfillment, this is your reading. So the peach is fully grown, ready for the picking. It's got that full moon in the background too. This week something is ripe for the picking. You've put in the work and now it's time for the reward. So let's see what this week brings. Group number 4. Okay, well, you've got a lot to start. You've got the Knight of Pentacles, Death, the 8 of Swords, and the Page of Rods. Okay, so something is slowing to a full stop. Maybe you've lost inspiration, you've lost your momentum, you feel uninspired. Of course, that full moon in Scorpio is relating to that something deep and digging. Something is either being dug up and or buried at the time of this moon. Really looking at your inner world and how you maybe bury your truth. Or is there something you don't address? It just feels like something is coming to a halt. And then you feel stuck. And there's not really a clear solution or a clear way to move forward or a clear way to finish the project, let's say. It kind of seems like you've weighed yourself down physically. You've weighed yourself down because what I see in these cards is a very heavy appearance. Someone who maybe puts on a lot of armor to go into the world. This feels like someone has weighed themselves down, or they've almost... I don't want to say made themselves unapproachable, but it does kind of feel like an intense personality, an intense presence. And this, I think maybe there's some insight about how this has sort of stopped you from experiencing. There's a few messages coming through, bear with me. In that instance, the Page of Rods is looking to be a little more free, like shedding some of that heaviness, shedding some of that darkness, and embodying more of a lively appearance or a willingness to... There's a want for adventure. There's an excitement. Like, I want to get out. I want to spread my message. I want to see what the world has to offer. I want to get out there. And for a lot of you, you may feel silenced and you may feel stuck. And this is a way to amplify your voice. So how do you amplify your voice in this scenario? What do you need to do to be heard? Do you actually need a microphone with a speaker so you reach more people, you reach a farther distance? Do you need, like, are you looking for more of a social media approach? It just feels like there's more vibrancy, there's more life, there's more buoyancy. Like, let's say for an easy example, someone, I don't know if I need to give an example, but like someone really, in their younger years, they like to have an exoskeleton, so to speak, right? That Scorpio moon is exoskeletal. So maybe even somebody who had an intimidating appearance and recognizing that it really blocked them. I'm actually seeing that someone has served time and they're getting free. Are some of you waiting for someone to be released? Something is being released. Some condition has been fulfilled, and this is a person now getting free. This is quite an intense reading. So if you're group number 4, I think you are brave citizens, I'm hearing. Because I can tell even by the way I'm reading the cards that it might scare some people away or turn them off. Someone who was too methodical that they lost interest. Something they loved became too mechanical, too formulaic, and they've lost interest. And so this is really about finding some new excitement and maybe a new way of marketing this product or dressing yourself or expressing something about this to try and breathe some new life into it. Let's see. Okay, 6 of Pentacles and the Empress. So a lot of you may be connected to maybe, I think group number 1 had this. But yeah, that six of Pentacles as well, 6 of Coins, is feeling like something has been fulfilled, a karmic lesson where something has been given equal to what was done, asking for payment. It seems like you're investing a little bit in yourself, a little bit more in your comfort. In the Taurus season is really helping you invest in the beautiful things in life. So that duality on Tuesday with the full moon is helping you. Scorpio moon is helping you release some heaviness, maybe something about that exoskeleton being released. I'm hearing something about the 8th house again, so it could have been something with obligation, but it feels like that heaviness is released, and at the same time, the sun in Taurus is helping you focus on the good things in life, quality, comfort, and nourishment, and maybe recognizing that you're just relating to yourself differently from how you were before. You're moving, like this is a situation that's moving from a very methodical, mechanical, almost hyper masculine, machine like sort of rhythm to something that is more flowing and free, and like when the energy strikes, when the inspiration strikes. Maybe you've just run out of inspiration and it's hard to go on routine alone. Others of you, 6 months, something will be done. I heard commission for some of you. You're really moving into a beautiful, bright, abundant, flowing space. There's comfort. You feel very connected to, like, this has come directly from me and it's being shown to the world, or I'm like, it's coming from the heart. It's really moving away from something that was purely mechanical in purpose, like a job just to pay the bills, for example, to something that is more creative and allows you to embark and explore and inspires vision. Seeing some new talents that you have as well. Any other messages for group number 4? You have to get out and walk. You have to be in nature. When you're, I feel like a light just went on over there. You have to get out and walk and be in nature, because if you've been experiencing, like you've been in a fruitless land, a field with no crops, sowing seeds in desolate soil, there was no hope for growth. To gain inspiration back, more of this fervor, you're asked to go for a walk, go outside, adventure, be free, be spontaneous, explore the neighborhood. I am getting a lot about the number 3 or the 3rd house. Exploring with a bit of a plan, but more for the sake of absorbing what's around you and learning about what's around you, and then something clicks. Something clicks. You receive the message, you receive the download, and then the Empress, you're able to produce something based on this. A lot of you, this is about learning to communicate your needs, or just speaking up a little more, using your voice a little more. Page of Rods is all about using the voice a little more, and that curiosity, that willingness to explore. 9 of Cups. I kind of look like him with the red. It's not makeup. I see a lot of pleasure. Maybe dress up or role play. For some of you in relationships, there's more of a quest for pleasure, relating to each other, connecting in that way, where things have been very like routine, day in, day out. We have our schedules, we sit down, we have dinner, we go to bed kind of thing. It's been very formulaic. there's just a lot changing with how you connect to yourself, how you feel in your body. I'm seeing a lot of you too maybe have gained weight and you're feeling really good about that. You're actually happy to gain some weight back. I think you're feeling healthy. I heard the word plush. You're feeling good, like you've gained some weight back. You've got a full belly. I think the very definition of pleasure is changing. You're recognizing what has really been maybe momentary, what has sort of sucked the life out of you, or what felt good in the moment doesn't really feel good the next day or as time goes on. So this is more about establishing some new, I heard pleasure methods or pleasure zones. I don't know where this is coming from, but relating to yourself differently and focusing, like there's just a different definition of pleasure, what it means to feel good in your body. I heard sex therapist as well. So the Six of Pentacles, maybe some of you wanting to pay for a service, actually investing a little bit can really will yield a result, will give you something that will help you go further. The Sun. You don't mind being seen anymore. You were quite hidden. That Knight of Pentacles and Death card. I just want to show you where you've come from and what you're becoming. You have come from the Knight of Pentacles and Death, which to me feels like someone who is maybe hiding their body, they're ashamed, they don't want to be seen in broad daylight, that's for sure. Turn the lights out, or I'm wearing clothing, like I'm going to leave my t-shirt on and maybe we're just going to lie under the covers and I'll like go on my side and that's it. Whereas, it's just like now, the Sun, I want to be seen, I want to be known, I feel more confident, I feel beautiful, I feel comfortable. So much is growing. It goes to show that when you speak a little of that excitement and you change the energy, you're going to shift the energy with that Six of Pentacles and the Empress, you start to feel the flow, the abundance, and now with the Sun, you see the growth, right? That Empress pours love into something and she grows the art project, she grows the baby, she grows the flowers, she grows everything from her natural abundance. So you end up, some of you as well, there's like a rebirth or a relaunch, a full launch, a grand opening, like a ribbon cutting. It's branded, here I am, this is what it is, it's good, it's beautiful, it's colorful, it's bright, it's vibrant. A lot of you wanting to move. Just something in your life has felt so, it was just skeletal, it was just enough, but it's not enough. You've got the Cross. I heard, now going back to, I was led to this again, fulfillment of a duty. You have done what you need to do. Some of you have felt that I really feel like there's a group, maybe one of you out there. I do hear something about a sentence or a punishment or in a very literal way. That is now fulfilled and it's like, okay, I'm relating to the world differently, I'm seeing the world again, I'm out in the fresh air again. I wonder if some of you, if this is an animal that you've rescued. But the cross is really the cross that we bear, our burdens, our suffering. what we stand for, what we're known for. I feel this is really connected to this Eight of Swords. You felt that you had to do something the same way, or you had to show up the same way, and it was heavy and it was going without, and it was like, what makes me pious, or what makes me charitable, what makes me a moral being, is to go without. There may have been some real guilt about indulging or enjoying something based on this global awareness, or an awareness of maybe someone even in your own family or your next door neighbor. But interestingly, I think this is a lot about your health and your body, and some of you, I heard, you're getting a new knee or you're getting a hip replacement or something, and finally you're free. You're free. I think that this is ending. I think that the time you've been doing on this cross, I think that's ending. The Scorpio moon is setting you free. The Scorpio wants liberation. The Scorpio is about liberation. And sometimes to reach liberation, we first have to experience a death rebirth, where Scorpio energy can sort of reduce us to our most essential form. And some of you may have been in survival mode, or you feel like you've been kind of stripped down to nothing and really looked at, well, what do I have, or who am I without all of these external things? And a lot of you too, just looking around at the field, so to speak, and going, well, my crops didn't grow because this place is no longer fertile for me. I need to move on. And I do see some of you are trying to conceive, and you will be successful, but you have to ask for help. You have to pay for some help relating to your fertility or your sexuality. There is a need to either seek a therapist or some kind of medical intervention to grow. But it looks really good. It leads to a beautiful, she's got the cross right there, on the heart. Wearing an emblem, this could even be something you wear from someone else, or as a symbol of what you've been through. It doesn't have to be a cross per se. It's just, that is a symbol that we all recognize, right? So you are carrying a symbol or a token maybe of what you've been through, or the reason why you are on this path, the reason why you care about this or you fight for this. You have a cause. And the true nature of something will be revealed. It seems like you're going toward a life of pleasure, a life of enjoyment. More fun, more visibility. I want to be seen. I want to be known. I deserve to be. I feel happy. I'm grateful to be alive. Something is located. I feel that collectively, I think something significant will be located this week. You will find the location. The location will be found. Something will be located. fulfillment. It is done. Others of you, just a lease that's up, let's say, and it's time to think about, do I stay or do I go? So, my friends, these hard, cold walls are becoming beautiful green lands of grass and flowers and trees and waterfalls and sunlight. There's a lot of beauty about to come into your life. So I will leave that there. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will see you in the next one.